Here, nice of you to join me, and a very warm welcome to my channel. It's lovely to have you here with me today. We are on part 10 now of the little house box and album project that we've been doing recently on the channel, and this one is going to be the finishing touches. So we're going to finish off the spine, so we're going to put our pattern paper along the spine. And we'll also finish the front, side, spine and back of our outside of our album. And then we can attach all the metal embellishments that we've got left, which are in my little box here. And my little pom-pom that will go on the side just to set it off. So if you would like to buy this as a kit, I do have them available on my shop, Tomorrow Morton Crafts. I will put a QR code up there for you to scan with your mobile device, and that will take you directly to my shop. Please don't forget to subscribe to the channel, like and comment. All those things really do help my channel grow. The other thing I want to say is that there is a free downloadable PDF for this project, and that QR code is at the front of this video in the intro. But there is also a link in the description box down below as well. There'll be links also in that description box for other pieces, other products that I use that I have available in the shop as well. So please do go and check out my shop. So we're going to start with just filling out and finishing off our spine. You can leave it like this, but it does look really effective when you patterned with your pattern paper the strips that go in between. It really does help. Now, I haven't put these measurements in the PDF. I don't know why. I think I just forgot to put them in, but they're very simple to do anyway. So let's make a start. So with this, we are going to need to cut the first one. Will need to be cut at, I'm just double checking to make sure I've got my measurements right. So it will be 3/8 of an inch by, and it will be 6 7/8. So that's one, and they'll all be the same apart from the one in the middle. The one in the middle, you're going to make that at 5/8. So it is 1, 2, 3, 4 at 3/8 of an inch by 6 7/8, and 1 by 5/8 by 6 7/8. So I'm going to cut mine now. Okay, I've cut mine out here. So I've cut 2 at 3/8 of an inch, then your 5/8 of an inch, and then 2 at 3/8 of an inch. So that's how I will put them into my book. So I will distress these when I find my distress thing, and we can get going. I've really enjoyed doing this book. I have. It's been but then I say that about all my projects that I do. Each one seems to just hold a special place in my heart once I've made them. I think it's because I make a couple of them. I kind of, how I work is I design it, so I put it down on paper, then I will cut out the pieces and put that together, and then any amendments I need I can work on that prototype. Then once I've done that, I'll make another one, and that one I will then decorate and that then becomes the one that I use for my photographs and things. And then I'll make another one, and that one then will be the one that we do on the tutorials. So I kind of make quite a few of them. So I have quite a few boxes and things hanging around that I've made, and that way that I know that they are going to work and fit together. It just makes more sense to me. I'm more of a hands-on learner, so I have to see something for it to get it completely right in my mind. And thank you. Savannah's just bought me up a drink. She's a good egg, she is. And she is the one behind all the designing of the programs and things like that. Well, she doesn't design the programs, I'll get that right. She's the one that I have an idea in my head, and I'll go to her and say, Savannah, I'd like to have this, and she then takes it out of my head and puts it into her program, and she designs it. So I wouldn't be able to do what I do without her. So yes, she gets a big kiss at the end of the day. Right, so let's put these all together now. So you wouldn't believe that I actually unclogged the glue before I come on camera and stuck the pin in, thinking that no, that will keep it nice and open, and it didn't. It seems to be once you get down to a certain amount left in your glue in the bottle, it tends to clog up quicker. So I'm going to put these on now. So that starts there. I'll move that up a little bit because cut that little. I've cut that sort of short so that we can get. So push that down. Now this does look like it's got a bigger gap either side, but that's because we've got the spine join there. So when I do it that way, it doesn't look as bad. There we go. So now we do the next one, and I'm just going to check I've got it up the correct way. And I have, I think. I'll go this way. Oh, there's me talking about, oh, that would be great. And look, I'll put it upside down. And I bet you this is stuck already. Oh, come on, come on. Oh, that's lucky. The paper gods are with me today. Just add a bit more glue. Turn this round. And we put that back down. There we go. And don't tell me I've just put it up the wrong way again. No, there we go. That's better. I got it the right way now. This goes on here. So has anybody seen on my channel, I've got another project that I've done called the Exploding Box album and kit. That is a really lovely project to do. I love that project. I've actually done mine in Christmas papers, but you can do it in any paper. Looks lovely. I have a few ladies on my group, Memories Papers Art, that have done theirs in. Well, she's done hers in a bee pattern paper, and sunflowers, and it does it. It looks so effective. It really does. Yeah, that's my group. That's Memories Papers Art, and it's not just for my projects. You can put projects that you've done with other people. You can do your own projects. You can post your own YouTube videos that you have on there, which would be really good. As long as it's something to do with crafts, then it's fine. So it doesn't have to necessarily be memory books. It can be mixed media. It can be card making. I have a lady that posts quite regularly all her cards on there, and they're all lovely that she posts. So she posts all her cards, and it's just a lovely group just for our love of our hobbies. So it could be knitting, it could be crocheting, it could be card making, box making, as I say, mixed media. If you do lives as well, then you could come and do a live in the group. That would be really lovely. I've had a few ladies do that. They've come in and done some lives for us. So it's really nice way just to get involved in another aspect of our hobbies. Right, so that is the spine bit done, and doesn't it look so much more professional with that done in there like so? It really does. I really love just doing that. These finishing touches, they really do help. Another finishing touches that you can do that I've done in previous books is if you've got any metallic wax, you could just put some around your edges. Now this doesn't lend itself to that type of thing, but I put it sometimes around the foundation tape, and it just brings these edges then to life. So that's another way. Another thing that you can do, which I did at Christmas, which was really nice, is edge all my pages with glitter. So you just use one of those glue pens, run it along the edge, and then dip it in some fine glitter, and it just again makes your book sparkle, especially for things like Christmas. It really does look nice. So coming on to the front and the side, now I haven't got enough to actually go all the way around, because what I tend to do is, especially if I have 12 by 12, it really then lends itself to that, is to paper piece the front and the spine. So I would have the front and then have it coming over so that the spine would match, so it would all marry up. But because I've only got 8 by 8s left, I'm not going to have enough to do that. So what I'm going to have to do is work out what I want, how I want. So I think I want it where this perfumery is on the top, and then I'll cut off the edges so that I've just got this nice edge around, and I think that would just fit on there like so. And then the edge, the spine, I might do with either that one or I've got that one, but I think, or there's that which would go really nice. I've got another one of these, so I might put that on there and then it will all match. I'll see when I come to it. So, or I could use, well, I couldn't because I've now chopped that down, but I could have used that to have gone round the edge as well. So I'm going to cut this down to, let me just double check my measurements. So this is going to be 7 1/4, and I think this is 7 1/4 as well. No, so 7 1/4 by 7 1/8. So 7 1/4 goes this way. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna cut off 1/2 inch off one side, and then, did I say 1/2 inch? Was that a quarter? No, 1/4 inch. 1/4 inch off the sides, and then I will cut down to 1/4, like so. So this is now 7 1/4, That's my length. That's just nice. By 7 1/8. So if you didn't want this bit off, you could cut that off, but I actually want that border there, as long as I don't cut off the perfumery, which I haven't. That can stay on there. So that's nice around there. Now I am going to ink my edges on this, and I am going to go quite heavy on the colour, because this is the front. I really want those edges to stand out, and what better way than to frame it with some distressing. You don't need to use distressing. If you haven't got any distressing and you've got other ink, you can use that. You can use archival or any other ink that you may have. Just be careful if you do use archival that you use it quite sparingly at first. So little and often, I would say, if you're going to use archival. That way you can build up your colour. Whereas distress ink is quite forgiving. If you kind of get a finger mark using archival, that's it, it's on there. Whereas with distress, if you get kind of a little bit of a finger mark, you can sometimes just blend it out. That's it. I'm going to just pay a bit more attention to those corners, just to make them a bit more darker. And then, as you can see, it does really frame that paper. So that's going to go on like so. Now I haven't thought about what I'm actually going to put on the front. I think what I may do is put, I did have somewhere here some tags. Let me have a look. That came in one of the kits. So I've got sort of these. I'm going to put these in. These came with they were in a card pack. I think I got them in. So we've got something like that, but I don't. That's too big. This is too big. This is quite nice. Love all. I quite like that. So that I could cut that down and have it as just that, and then that could maybe go. So let's have a look. Now that's quite nice. Roses speak a secret language. That actually might be better up there, like so. Now I don't know whether to make that into put some acetate over the front, because we did have some acetate left. No. I'm a bit, I don't know what to do. Right, okay, let's stick this on, and then I'll have a think about that. I mean, I have got some smaller ones here that could just go. I might use the smaller ones. So let's stick this on, and then we'll decorate the front, the side, and then we will do the decoration of the front. So I'm just going to put some glue all over this, like so, and then we can stick that down. I'm just going to push that up a little bit so that I can just get a nice even border all the way around. There we go. And then burnish really well. Okay, so that's the front. Again, it's now looking like a book, isn't it? So now we've got the side, the spine to do. Now with the spine, what I sometimes do is I back it first in our cardstock, and then back the pattern paper onto the cardstock, but I cut them at the same time. So I cut them so they haven't got a border around them. Now I do that so that when we put on our spine handle, it's not going to pull off, it's not going to pull through the paper as much. So spine handle is in here. Now there's a few things in here that I haven't used yet, which I will use in a moment. Now these are for the the roof, and they are the metal corners that go on the side of the roof, and these are corner savers, so these actually go around the corner rather than onto the corner. It's just a different form of protection of a box, because I haven't got the corners around the bottom, they aren't regular corners. These don't fit, these ones here, so these are the next best alternative. So again, if you've got the kit, this is what you will get in your kit. So that's the little spine handle there, which there are some brads to put that on. So let me measure that and then we can cut that out. So the spine, so cut out your cardstock and pattern paper at the same size. So this is going to be 2 5/8 by 6 7/8, I think. No, 2 5/8. Double check. So it's a half, yeah. 2 5/8 by 7 1/8. So if you've got some cardstock left, which I've got here, hopefully it's the right size. So 7 1/8. Oh, I can get that out of there. So 7 1/8 by 2 5/8. So that's that. And then for the spine, I was going to use that as a piece, which actually that's quite nice. No, you stick with what I said. Now it's disappeared. See, this is what happens. It just goes. I have it and then poof, it's gone. Hiding. So I'm just going to cut this edging off because I don't want that edge on there, and this is going to be at 2 5/8 by 7 1/8, but I'm just going to cut that edge, that pink edging off. I didn't want the pink edging, and then this is going to be 7 1/8. I'm going to come down because I do want to have this border around. So I'm going to go with 7 1/4 and then turn that round and do 7 1/4, and then I can do my 7 1/8, and then that should give me that nice border around. So although that's really nice. Look how I've cut that. That looks lovely, look. You see that? I might actually use that. Yeah, we'll do that. So we're going to go with the back piece. That happens sometimes. You think you're going to have one thing and then you put it on and you think, I don't like that. So you change your mind. And that's okay. That's okay. That's how I learn. As I say, I like to see things before I make. I wish I could be one of those people that could visualise everything in your head, each step, but I have to do each step physically to understand it. And then once I've done it once, I'll then remember and I'll be able to do it again and again. So that's my patterned paper. So I'm going to stick it onto the back of our cardstock. Now you're not going to have a border around here. So it's not sort of a matte and layer that you're going to see. It's just a strengthening strategy to help your spine pattern paper piece. Now I'm going to put quite a bit of glue around the top area, because that's where the spine handle is going to go. So you want it to stick and not fall off. So there we go. So I'm just going to give that a burnish down. I have got a slight border, but it's not an awful lot. I think it's more where the distress ink is. So I might just distress this a little bit more, just around that corner, like so. So give it a burnish down. There we are. So with your spine handle, I'm going to come down. Now I have to be a bit careful on this because of where our pom-pom. Because our pom-pom's quite big, so I don't want it to be, the spine handle to be down here. So it really has to go up about there. So I'm going to put my spine handle down about I'm going to go about 1/2 inch, because my spine handle, the handle does hang down a little bit. So we've probably got 1/2 inch of depth from this handle. So put that on there like so. Yes, so that actually comes to about 1 inch. So if I was to put that at 1 inch and then that, it would kind of like go in the middle. So it would be okay, but I want that up a bit further. So I'm going to do mine at 1/2 inch. So I'm going to dumb down 1/2 inch. So I'm just going to mark my 1/2 inch. No, actually, sorry, changing my mind again. I'm going to come down at 1 inch, as we said. I think that would be okay. So come down 1 inch, and then I'm going to come in and I'm going to measure this at 2.5. It's just over 2.5 because it's that 2 5/8. So I'm going to measure it at 2.5. So that would be 1 1/4. No, 1 3/8 would be my middle. But I'm just going to come just over where the 3/8 is and the 1/2 inch starts. I'm just going to come in the middle of that, like so. That looks a bit better. So I'm going to come in the centre there. Okay, so I'm just going to punch one hole, because that's where the top of our spine mount is going to be. So we're going to put that at the top there. So let me just punch that hole through. I'll put my brad in that one hole and push through. Like so. And then we can then go and put the others in place. So once you're happy with that one, straighten it up and then punch the rest of your holes. And I will just push these brad legs down a bit so they're a little bit more flatter. Like so. My mini hammer. Put it on the back. Just very, very gently, just flatten them down. And that is then the spine mount. Like so. And then you can put your pom-pom on. So that's the pom-pom on the side. Oh, there we go. On there. And you can put ribbons on there as well. It just makes it a nice little feature on the side of your box. Now what is a really lovely way to do with these pom-poms is, if you were going to do an Alice album, these look like a little rabbit's tail, so they look stunning. I did that on one of the workshops I did the Alice, and I used that, as I say, on the side. Just makes a quick and easy feature than using charms and like your book dangles. I don't know if that's what they're called, but that's what I call them, the book dangles that go on the side. So let's put our glue on. Now again, what I did do is I just covered those brad legs with a piece of the foundation tape. Now again, I've put quite a lot of glue on here because I want it to really stick well. just move that up. Oh, stand it up. Then I can work nicely on that side. Get it nice and level, even. And then we can push it down. Like so. Get it stuck. There we are. Okay, so that then is the side with our lovely pom-pom on. And what does it look like when we put it in the box? Let's have a look. So this is going to go in this way. Now because we've got that height on the box, the pom-pom is not going to affect anything, so it will sit quite snugly over the top. Because we've got this space in here, it fits quite nicely. If you were doing this in a different box, you would maybe have to think about doing something different, or making your lid that little bit bigger. So that then is the box front. Obviously we've got to put this in the wrong way. Going on to the back. Now the back, I was just going to, you can, if you're running short on paper, what you can do is use some of your offcuts, like so. So I've only got, say, that bit there. So I could use it, I would use it this way actually, more so than the other, because that's got that border around. So you could have it where you've got that much pattern paper, and then you could just put in a black strip, a black piece of card on the back there, and then join it with a black strip. The other alternative that you can do is you can just cover the back in your cardstock. So whatever colour cardstock you use, you could cover the back in that colour. That also helps you cut down on your pattern paper. I'm going to use the back piece of this, because it's going to just marry together like so. I don't think, or maybe, actually no, what I'm going to do is I'll pattern piece this, because that is going to go on there, that actually goes on there. I'm going to pattern that up like so. So I'm just lining it up, because I've cut bits off. I don't want to get it so that it's not in line. So I cut off the top. So I cut that off at 1/4 of an inch, and then I did 1/2 inch down the bottom, and then I come back to the top, and then I did another 1/2 inch. I did it that way. So fingers crossed that I remembered my measurements, and yes, I did. Yeah, very nearly. I've got to come down a little bit more, but that'll do. That's not too bad. That looks okay. That'll do for me. But I think I need to just come off. I've not cut it down enough, because this should have been 1/8, shouldn't it? So I cut the 1/8 off the bottom here. So like so. And that should be right. Yes, it is. Okay, we did it. So ink these edges. And then I will get some black cardstock just to put on the edge. Okay, find the glue. Unclog. There we go. Okay, turn it up the right way. make sure you've got that in the right place. Just bring that down a bit more. It's got stuck. There we go. That's not a bad match. Okay, and then what I'm going to do is just now measure this bit. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to come across, I'm going to come over just a tiny bit. So I'm going to cut this at 2.5 by 6 and no 2.5 by 7.25, 7 1/8 is my measurement. So that may be the right size. I think that is 7 1/8. Yes, right. So by 2.5. Like so. Then that can fit on like that. And then what I'll do is I'm just going to put a strip down there. But then saying that, that looks alright as it is. I'm going to leave it. Now, the reason I'm putting it over is that I didn't realise that this edge has got the glue left on it from the paper pad. Now I normally try and get them off, but this one just slipped through the gaps. So a lot of glue, then just line it up with that edge, line it up with that top edge, bring it over, and then just burnish that down. And then what you could do if you wanted to, you could put some ribbon over that, maybe even a piece of string. That might look quite nice if you put a piece of string over that like that, just to add a little bit more definition to that. But it looks okay as it is. If you've got a handmade by stamp, you could put that on there as well. I sometimes put, I've got a wax seal. It's pink, so I'm not going to, purple. I'm not going to use those ones because they're the wrong colour. But I have got a green one. So the green one I could use. You see it's got my name on it. So you could put that on there if you had something like that. They're really, really handy if you like those. I like them. They just make it look a little bit different. Especially if you are selling your books, then you can just, it's just something that it knows that you've made the book, and it's just something different. So that then is my book now all covered. So I was going to use something like these. Now this is my thinking of what I'm going to do. So I want to make a couple of, or a tiny little tuck spots. That was my thinking of what I was going to do, because I can't do too much because I've got to think of how big the box is. So we can just cut them out, and this needs to be cut a bit more because it's too big. So cut it right down. And I might just use my scissors actually and just chop those bits off, because this is a bit more of a not a straight line. The tag or the image, the box is sort of hand drawn, so it lends itself to being a bit more freehand, I think. And if you've got big scissors like this, it makes it easier to cut. So I'm just going to ink those edges just to hide any imperfections of my cutting, like so. So that's one. So we could have them going across there like that. That would look quite nice. So let's have a go. Okay, so that's my 3 cut out. Now you can back these onto some of your cardstock, which I think I may do. and then have that as your straight edge. So just ink those edges, so then that can go in the middle, and then you've got your 3 pieces there. Maybe make them up a bit. You could maybe do them like so, that would be quite nice. Maybe add some glossy accents down here and just keep that as very plain, simple. Maybe add a word or something. Yeah, I think that's what we'll do. So I'm just going to add these as a flat mat onto the back there. I just think that looks so much better than that. It just takes too much away from the paper. So I'm going to put these 2 on like so. And I think what we might do is add a little bit of I did have it here. There we go. Now I've either got that type, that looks really nice actually, but I've obviously stuck this now too near. I don't think I could lift that up. I might be able to stick that on. That would cover that like so. Alright, or put that back, and I've got a smaller one, she says, which is just little love, well I call them little love hearts. Just put that along there. That looks nice as well. I think I'm just have that. So to stick my ribbon down, I use Fabri-Tac. It's the best, I find. It does stick straight away and it's clear, so you don't get any mess, and once it's on, it's on. So let's just put that on, line it up with the edge of that paper, just pulling it taut so that it finds the natural level. There's nothing worse than having your ribbon on and it be not straight. Ribbon there. So you could put that on the back as well if you wanted. I'll let that settle first. So take that off. Like that. So you could put, as I say, put some glossy accents as your little bits around the flowers here. You could add some small flowers that were flat on there as well if you wanted to. But I have to be a bit mindful of this album. So this is going to go into our box like so. Okay. Right, so as you can see, I've put my album in now, but because we have to put our album in going downwards, so the spine is on the top, this part here is going to be upside down. So to get over that, what I did is I made an accordion book to put in the front of this, so that it's then just another sort of photo mat opportunity, but it just will cover that there. So we need some cardstock, and you'll need it to measure 6.5. So you want one piece at 6.5 by 6.5. So that's one side, and then you'll need one at 7 by 6.5. Okay. So if you cut out a few of those, let's say 3, so 6.5 by 7, and then on the 7-inch side, just score that at 1/2 inch. Okay, so that's one, and then you need another. So all we're doing is making a booklet. So one more at 7.5, sorry, 7 by 6.5, and score along that 7" at 1/2 inch. So that's 2, and then you'll need just 1 at your 7.5, sorry, 6.5 by 6.5. 6.5. Okay, now these aren't in your instructions, this is just a bonus. So let's put this together. Now you need it so that you've got one with your 7" where your score line on the ground, so on your desk, with your hinge part sticking up. Then your next piece with the same 7" wide strip with your 1/2 inch glue tab sitting on the top, but that's facing upwards as well. Okay, so that we're going to first of all use our glue, and we're just going to put glue onto the valley fold side of that glue tab. Okay, and then this glue tab here is going to be sat onto the opposite end of your other booklet. So make sure you've got it all lined up and in place. Hold it down and then just very carefully smooth that glue tab into place like so. Okay, so that's one part of your booklet. So bringing in the part that hasn't got any glue tabs on, so your 7.5 by 7.5, you need to put that on the top of the one that's already down with your glue tab sticking up again. Put your glue on the valley fold side again, all the way. Get it so that it's sticking up. Make sure you've got your sides level and even, and then just ease, when you're ready, ease that glue tab down like so. And then that is your booklet. So let's go ahead and then decorate it. So this is 6.5 by 6.5. So if you've got any of your pattern paper left, you want to make a front feature of that, then this is where you will put it. So let's have a look what I've got left. I think I've kind of used all of my sheets up. I've got this one, so we could use that. Would look quite nice actually. So let's use this. So I need this to be 6 3/8 by 6 3/8. So 6 3/8 by 6 3/8. Like so. So then this can be my front view when I put it in my box. That looks quite nice then on the front, and it goes nice with this here because it's quite plain. You don't want too much on there, and I think I will leave that at that because I've got my image and my focal point on the front of my box. I think I'll leave this just as is. So I'm going to just ink the edges. I have enjoyed working with this paper, I have to say. It's been a bit different. It's very feminine. I love the perfume bottles. They're also really old-fashioned, and you can just imagine seeing them on like your grandmother's dressing table, you know, with all the different ointments and lotions and potions and things, just like in the 1940s or 20s and that type of thing. Just very, very old-fashioned. Okay, so that's the front. So I'm not going to do the insides. I'll leave that for another day. I'll show you what I've done in this one. So I've put one of the cut out parts in there with just a little tab pull out there, and then added the cut out elements on the top of that envelope, and then inside I've just pattern pieced, added the elements with my stamps as well. I did that on all of them, so you can then add different pieces to it like that. But I think I'm just going to leave that like that, and then we can put that in there, and then that's going to keep that nice and looking level and not out of place. We can then put our album in, then put the top on, and then it just looks nice there. So if you wanted to, you could add some extra bits to that, but I'm just going to leave that as is, I think, because most of my focal point is on the front, so it's just to make it look a bit more aesthetically pleasing, so it's not upside down. So the only thing left we've got to do is to put our metal embellishments on that were in the kit onto our roof. I forgot to add them when we were doing the actual lid. So in the kit you've got two types of metal embellishments, and you've got two corner pieces, and they go on the roof part like so. And we've got some brads. Now if you want to use your brads you can, but for this I'm just going to use the glue. Now you have got enough brads in there to put them on, and I think I did it in the other one. Yes, I did. But just for quickness, I'm just going to add, but I'll add them afterwards because I need to keep moving my box around. These are going to fall off. So I'll put them on in a second. So the other type are these ones here. Now these go around your sides like that. Now the reason they do that is because these are irregular corners. I couldn't get any metal corners to fit them, so I found these ones instead. Now these ones are just as nice. They just protect the sides of your box, and just also make it look really nice. So I did have a box of brads, not a box, a packet of brads here, because I got them out a moment ago, but they've now disappeared. So what I will do, if I can't find them, there we go. I was going to say, if I can't find them, I'd have glued them, but they're here. So these have got 4 brads each, so make sure just by eye the centre of your box side here, and then using a pokey tool, just very gently, if you can, poke your holes through. So I always poke one, then put my brad, and then poke the rest, because that way then you've got that one brad in place, and that's then keeping everything in order and aligned. So once you've got it in, just put the brad's legs back, just fold them over so that sticks in place, and then you can do the next one, and then just do them all the way around until you've done them all. So I've done one, I can do the next, and then this last one here, and then just put your brads through, and hopefully try not to push too hard, because you don't want to break your box. That would be so disheartening if you did that. So just be careful when you're pushing your brads through, your pokey tool through. So that's that one. Then we'll do this one, and then what I'll do is I'll show you how to finish this one, and then I think we'll call it a day on this video and this series. We've done it. So that one's not going through, it's stuck. So let's just take that one out. I have actually added some extra brads in with your kit, just so that you've got extras just in case something like that happens. So push them down like so. Now I'm going to use the back of my pokey tool just to flatten them legs down a bit more, so they sit a bit flatter. And then add that there, and then push them down. Now what you can do is with them, as you can see them brad legs coming through. Now there's no other way of getting round doing that at all. You can't put them on before you do anything else. You have to put them on afterwards. So to get away with it so you don't see them as much, just use a bit of your foundation tape, and all we're going to do is just cover those legs. So I've just cut mine in half like so, and I'm just going to put this bit, probably even half of that, like that, and that's just going to go over those two brad legs like so. And because it's the same colour, it hides them, you can't see them at all. Now if you wanted to, you could go along and you could just paint over these as well, and that would hide it even more. Okay, so that's how you do the corners bits, like so, and it looks stunning. When they've all got them on, it does look stunning. So I will do the rest of those and then I'll come back. Okay, I've now put on my metal embellishment. So I've done my handles. Now I've actually put that up on back to front. It should have gone that way. So that was my front of my box with my key there. So I've put my metal sides on and the metal corners on the top as well, and I haven't finished the accordion bit inside, but I will do that and then put that in the walkthrough. So that then is the finished article of our box. I've really enjoyed this project, I really have. It's been really different, and I love the fact that it's a little house, so you can make so much out of this. My other thing of what I was going to do with this was going to use the Savannah papers from Stamperia, and I was going to buy some you know, like the fencing that you can get that's the reeds or the bamboo, the tiny little slats. I was going to get some of that and put that over the top and have this as like a little like a grass roofed house, like what you do if you're on safari. That would have just looked so nice, but these papers went out instead, so that may be a one to come in the future. So yes, if you've enjoyed this video, please do subscribe and give me a thumbs up and a comment. I really appreciate every single one that does subscribe. It really does help my channel grow, and I thank you immensely. Here I'll put a QR code to all my social media links. Please do scan that and follow me on any of those. So thank you ever so much for following along on this series of videos, and all I have left to say is, wherever you are in the world and whatever you're doing, please have the most amazing day, and I will see you again on the next one. Bye! Yay, it's finished! Right, I've just had to go down to the door. I had a delivery, and shall I open it and show you what I've bought? I know this is a bit impromptu, so I know what it is, I know where it's from, so let me just take my address out of there, and and then open it up. So I wonder if you can guess what it is. So it is a 12 by 12, so you can see the box is a 12 by 12. So, oh, I've got, it's from My Creative Spirit, and she's put on there, enjoy Tamara. So let's have a look what it is. Oh, right, I'll give you a clue. The paper is, if you were a paper sniffer, this would be your bestest smell. So let's open this up. Oh, I really, really wanted it. Yes. Right, so I've just got the brand new, in my grubby little hands, the brand new Life's a Bowl of Cherries paper from Graphic 45. Oh, I just fell in love with this. So, thank you, Claire, for sending it out so promptly. I love it, I really do, so I shall be making something really nice with that. I bought it, it wasn't a gift, I did buy this with my own hard-earned cash. So, look. Oh, I know exactly what I'm going to do with that. I love this type of, these sort of recipe type ones. There are some lovely ones that have come out from Graphic 45, their new release, but this was the one that stood out to me, so this is the one I'm going to be using, hopefully on my next project. So, there. And then I got the patterns and solids as well. I love these checkered. It's classic Graphic 45, isn't it? The flowers, the checkered, the lovely patterns and things. They do such a fantastic job, don't they, of making their kits. They really do, and their papers and things. Okay, back to our book.